Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dave, for the introduction. In fact, when I came half an hour ago, when I saw names like Mukesh and Babu Arunachalam, I was wondering, what am I doing here? In fact, I asked them, why are you guys here? They said, don't worry, we are not here to listen to you. We have come to meet friends. So that gave me the confidence. And here I am. Okay, I think many of you, in fact, 30% of the audience here, I know them pretty well and they also know me well. And I came into this business because my partner Rupa Shankar was kind enough and she thought she can grow the business if she brings me as a partner. So prior to that, I was a journalist and I knew that you can't earn too much of money when you're a journalist. And Rupa said, we can take it to the next level, we can earn tons of money. And I loved meeting people and I loved money. So this profession allows you to meet people and you also have the potential to earn a lot of money. So that's how we both came together in 2007 and we started with Advaita Financial Services. So the early days, I think, interestingly, I was a person who used to write on this subject, but I didn't have the client-facing experience, if I can call it. So initial days, what happened, we used to meet almost every client personally. Of course, in 2007, you didn't have digital infiltration so much. So you had to meet people in person. And also mutual fund was going through the early stages of its growth. And I don't think people would trust you over the phone and give their money. So, and that really helped, when you meet people in person, you do the profiling, you understand their emotions, physical needs, financial goals, and very often people wouldn't even know their goals, You had to define their goals. So that was a very exciting period, and also it kind of helped us to connect with the people and the prospective clients. Luckily, when I walked into the business, Rupa herself had built X amount of client base. Of course, then I, coming onto the board with thanks to my journalism background, I also had a lot of friends, and I'm a person who generally have a lot of friends. So initial days, it was easier to build the business. Now, how do you take it further? You know the friends and you meet them. So how do you take it forward? So initially what we used to do, we used to understand their profile, draw up a plan, send a mail to the client, get their approval, and then go ahead with the implementation of the plan. I think even today, we follow it as a practice, and that really helps you in two ways. One is everything is on record, and you're making your client also a knowledgeable partner, and he also owns up, as I explained in the next slide. And initially, early days, we used to make it a habit that at least quarterly, we review the portfolio. Again, we used to have these physical meetings, but now thanks to digital and technology, you don't have to meet them in person, but regular review happens. Again, it depends on the client. There are some clients who end up talking to you, I think, fortnightly or a monthly basis. There are clients you don't even meet for a year or 2 years. In fact, I met a client whom I had met in 2018, okay, but we used to be in touch. And post-COVID, I think all of us have aged. Either we have aged too much or we have become very younger thanks to the fitness focus. I couldn't even recognize this doctor, thanks to the name board written in front of his cabin. I said, oh my God, this is the client. And both of us stared at each other for a minute and then they said, yeah, how are you? So it also happens when you don't meet the client very often, you won't be able to even recognize. So my advice is please make it a point to meet a client at least once a year. That is what the principle we are working on. And now thanks to software, you have this regular portfolio updates on a monthly basis. Automatically, they all get sent to all the clients. So the client also knows how it is their investments are doing. And another very important thing in your early stages, I think while initially you end up doing everything, gradually you need to build towards building a team. I have seen many advisors, who think that, I should do everything. I'm the back office, I'm the salesperson, I'm the director, everything. And I think somewhere you have to show your growth discreetly also and make sure that the mundane activities, you need to outsource it. Otherwise, I think your mind share has to be on quality of business growth. That happens only when you slowly start building your team. So initial days, we also had just a one runner boy. Then we had one person for just sending out the portfolios. And gradually, we have built over a period of time. This, I reiterate, even though you have the technology and everything, I think it's also important to have a decent size of business and in terms of team. Then, and that also allows you to focus your energies on business development. And once you have a certain set of clients, it's very easy to scale up. As Mr. Ayappan was saying, each one has their own goals of developing business. Some people may say, I want to add 100, 200, 300, 400 clients. Some people may say, I want more of wallet share. I think in our case, we have gone for the mix of both. And we have only grown through reference. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but I'll come to that point. Why only reference means? I always believe that a client is more like a friend, at least in my case. So what happens, you should be more helpful. My logic is if you're helpful to someone, automatically they're going to talk good about you. So today, on an average, we get something like 10 to 12 clients, fresh clients, through referrals. And some of my clients have given us 25 to 30 clients. Each client, some of these people who could be called influencers, I would say, they in turn have referred 25 to 30 clients. And in fact, these are the people, some of them who are all the CEOs or doctors, we regularly make even knowledge sessions for them. I think, so that is another model. I think if a client is happy, as Mr. Ayappan was saying, you basket good, bad, unhappy clients, I would say a happy client will automatically get you more business. Make sure that your client is happy and the rest of it is taken care of. And the bring in sense of ownership, I have already touched upon that. Yeah, and as I said, I think the best way to grow your business is make your client brand ambassador. In fact, I forget to ask my clients, please refer me clients, and then I say, anyway, you are referring, but make it a habit. I think it's very important that, your client talks about you in their circles. Each client, in fact, a typical example is a mid-level client becomes your client, then his parents become your client, and children when they grow up. And when you're in a business for 15, 20 years, you end up managing 3-generation money. And each of these people have the ability to get you at least 2 to 3 clients. So the power of compounding works there also. And very important thing, I think as MFDs, we are obsessed with returns. Like there was a question, passive funds, the cost. I feel MFDs tend to extrapolate their thinking process, at least in some cases, the pricing and the returns. You think that all clients are like that. I would say a client wants the good experience. A classic example I'll tell you, I recently met a client who is head of a large Tata Group organization. So we sent him an online link for investment for his purchase. He said, you are making me do all the work. Mind you, he is head of a tech company. He doesn't like the habit of doing himself, in a technology, when you send an online link, he has to sit and fill up everything. He doesn't like it, whereas he is very comfortable just signing one signature in a common application form or whatever, and he wants you to do everything. So that is a big learning. So nowadays we have gone, my favorite is phygital. Be physical and digital, because ultimately a client looks for easy and nice experience. And that does half the job for you, and your business growth is taken care of. Then, yeah, again, I think invest in people and process as your organization gets bigger. Have a decent team size, or at least I think it depends on your comfort. I would say we as entrepreneurs should also be mini factories and companies. I think there's no harm in giving employment to at least 5 to 6 people, so that you make your life easy. Personally, I hate to work on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturday, at least sometimes I do take calls. Sunday, to a perfect no. And even my clients know. I think another very important thing is, as you grow your business, you should also learn to say no, and also have the guts to say no. In fact, I recently said no to a client who wanted me to meet only on Sundays, and he wanted me to call him every week so that to ask how much money he has, and then I need to advise him. He was a client who had the ability to put some 25 lakhs SIP. I said, no, I'm not here to work on Sunday. I want to work on my times. I think you should learn to say no as a business person. Nothing happens. If that client doesn't come, you will have other clients. It's a big market. The equity penetration is only 10%. And you should have the confidence and I would say, the attitude to say no if you are not happy with the client. And as Mr. Ayappan was saying, this client is going to be a bad client and unhappy client forever. So why waste your energy on such people? It's better to cut them off at the initial stage. I mean, that's my way of looking at things. Okay, now this is, I think, my last slide. I would say, how do you build a business? In fact, the other day also I was talking to somebody. I would say initial stages you are looking at building your AUM. Then once your AUM itself, reaches, let's say 20 crore becomes 50 crore, start looking at that itself as an SIP. To me, my business itself is an SIP. So this 25, 30 crore, 50 crore, I extrapolated to each AMC, I should have that kind of AUM. Then bring it down to each scheme and then each client. When we started at about 14 to 15 crore AUM 17 years ago. Today, many clients have that kind of portfolio. I think when you get into